Hello everyone, it is Christine back for our stitch along, and we're continuing with Bullion knot, and this will be the last of our roses with Bullion knot. So the rose we're going to be stitching is called Rose with Padded Satin Centre. So I hope you're all having a great day or a great evening. What we're going to do is start by just drawing a little square, as I've done, onto our centre, which we'll use as the guide for our satin stitch. I've just used my red friction marker, which erases with heat, but I think we'll be fully covering it anyway. If you didn't have a pen that can mark on, you could just stitch to the size of a little square. So they're suggesting a 5mm square. Mine might be slightly larger than 5mm, maybe 7mm. And so we're just going to fill the square with satin stitch, so going down first and then across. And so with satin stitch, you just want to be going from top to bottom and not pulling your needle out as you go, just to create stitches next to each other so you fully shade in an area. So you're going from top to bottom and just sort of, popping your needle next to the last stitch that you've done, and then popping out at the top next to your other last stitch. So I hope your week's going well. Hope you're getting some time for some nice crafty activity. There we go. There's another one. So we're just working our way across, popping in from the bottom, popping out from the top, just next to the previous stitch, so we get that fully covered look. Oops, there we go. Probably need just one last one at this end. So there, you can see it's fully covered. And then we're going to work a second layer horizontally over the first. So in fact, I'll just turn it that way. I'll just let my needle unwind a bit so it takes the tension out of the thread. Get rid of the Travis hair that's snuck in. And then again, I'm just going to be going up and down, but just, passing my needle into the fabric so that I get the nice stitches sitting next to each other. Just hold that out of the way so I can see where I need to pop through. So you are still going through the fabric. You're not just passing your needle under the other threads, you're actually capturing the fabric, so you're attached to the fabric. Oops, I just pulled my needle out of its thread again. Thread out of my needle, I mean. Okay, so just stitches next to each other. Nice and even, so you get a really good covered area. So this is going to give a nice little raised patch in the centre of this rosebud. Interestingly, they didn't say a circle, but I suppose maybe once the stitches go over, it doesn't matter that it's actually a square shape. So once we've finished that, we're going to just anchor that satin stitch down. So just take our needle to the back and tie it off. Okay, and then we're going to change thread, and I thought I've got this bit cut off from some of our other roses. It's my variegated, but it's in a quite light bit of the variegation with a slightly darker at this end. So that's where we'll start. And we're now going to do some bullion knots around the centre. So let's see what the instructions say. Sorry, I just bumped the camera. So they're saying bring the needle to the front at A. So A being, I think they're showing partway along. Is it halfway? Thereabouts, I think, halfway along. So as with the other bullion knots, we bring the needle out, and then they're saying bring it in at just a bit before the bottom right, so about there, and then pass it through to near A. And then how many wraps? Wrap thread around needle 8 to 10 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. How does that look? 9, 10. I'll go for the greater number that they've suggested. Hopefully that gives me a nice full petal. So then I'm going to just let it, gives me more to hold on to. I really struggled with those rosebuds with the finer thread, and yeah, it was hard with fewer wraps to hold on in yesterday's edition. So that's a nice full rosebud, I think. Not rosebud, petal. And then we're going to bring the needle to the front at C, so partially along, but not as far around as we were going before. And so they say about halfway along the bullion petal, and then take the needle from D, so just sort of from the bit past, so a bit from the bottom, and take it back up to where we were, and then do the 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Hold on to our wraps. Ease our wraps through. And then we'll pop into the fabric at that same point where the thread is. Okay. And so we're going to go in the same manner. So again, I'll pop up about halfway around that petal that we just created. So I prefer these instructions where we're just saying halfway around. It's much easier than the other ones. And then just a bit towards the end, I think. Or maybe a bit more around like that. And then just angle the needle out so it pops out close to where that thread is, and then we'll do another 10 wraps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Holding onto our wraps, sliding the needle through. Holding, sliding around, and then positioning the wrap in. So 1, and then again halfway, popping out half. In fact, I'm just going to let my needle twist around so it's not all twisty tension in the thread, and then I'm going to pop out halfway around from that last petal. So just popping up around it, the halfway mark just outside that last petal. Move around a bit more around here. Bring the needle back to near that pop out point, but not pierce the thread because that will cause problems. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There we go. Okay, and take that one back in where the thread is. And then keep working our way around. Again, halfway. Hop around a bit further. Pop the needle. It's tricky holding it that way with the hoop. So maybe pop the needle out about there. Take the needle through to close where the thread is. Oops, done it again. Where am I going? I want to be going from about there through to about here. That's better. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Holding on, sliding through. So I think we'll all have the absolute hang of bullion knots by now. And we'll have a good sense of the sort of size of a number of wraps that you need for roses of different types. Again, just taking it back in where the thread is. And then go halfway around that petal, pop out at the side of that petal. And then I think this will be the last one. And I think for the last one, bring the needle to the front at E, take it to the back at F, tucked in between the first petal and the satin stitch centre. So I will go from around here so that it will tuck in. So what I've done is just gone in between that petal and the centre, because that was the first petal, and then we're going to pop out there and do our wraps. Do I have enough thread? And can I do it without unthreading my thread? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There we go. And then sliding through. And then we're going to position it down so it's tucked in. There we go. That is all our little loop-the-loops around the centre. I guess you could just keep going around if you wanted as well. Let's give that one to sit out a bit more. But yeah, that's very sweet. And the variegated thread works nicely on that one. Okay, so that is that's that for the roses. So tomorrow is going to be bullion knot bears. So if you want to have a look at what they have in the book, looks like that. So if you want a yellow bear, or you could do a brown bear, I might do a blue bear. I don't know. I'll have a think. But thanks for watching, folks. I think, yeah, we've got a lovely little row of roses there. I think that's quite an achievement. Proud of us for working through the instructions, which aren't always that clear, but we got there. We got there together. Thanks, everyone, and chat soon. Bye.